Hey guys, it's me, Sam Osi, reporting to you with soon-to-be status quo. So in Houston, if you guys haven't seen my article already, Valero is illegally releasing hydrogen cyanide. We're currently in the second meeting. Well, the second meeting's done now, and we're in after it. So here we are. So
Hello, my name is Roseanne Barone. I'm the Houston Program Director for Texas Campaign for the Environment.
awesome. So got you involved with this Manchester community?
I got involved in this community when I was just working with the local group here, TEJAS, Texas Environmental Health or Texas Environmental Justice Advocacy Services. Let me know, about this pending permit application, and we've always worked to fight permits around landfills previously. That's kind of the work that our organization has done for years. But air pollution is also one of the biggest issues here in Houston. So TEJAS let me know about this permit, and of course I jumped on the opportunity to, show our support, to submit our comments.
To stand in solidarity,
exactly, yes.
Basically. So there was a little bit of a theme going on of deny the permit. Is that something you guys are going to campaign around to push through, or did that just happen organically tonight?
That's our position because that's what we think should happen. As far as we work on a lot of different issues. We work on a lot of our main focus right now is cleaning up of toxic waste sites in Texas and improving the process by which toxic waste sites are cleaned up. So we'll continue to be involved in this application, or fighting this application essentially. And that's the message that's most effective. If what we can do for these types of situations is make the permit as strong as possible, most likely that it's going to just get approved anyway. But all we can ask for is that they don't do that, or they just make it strong enough to better protect public health.
Right. So there were some stats that you had talked about in your formal comment. Could you talk about those again real quick?
Yeah, those are some of the stats that TEJAS provided for us. Just that this community has some of the highest rates of benzene emissions in the entire country. That children in this area are 56% chance of getting leukemia. They live within this community compared to children who live 5 to 10 miles out. So the facts are there. It's a well-known fact that this community is just severely dumped on with air pollution, and that's constant. That's just regular 24 hours a day. Every single day, just simply by living here, and that's made worse during emissions from events like hurricanes, natural disasters, where these facilities are.
There's too much going on. There's too much. And for those of you that don't know, this is Houston. There's a neighborhood in the east side of Houston called Manchester, and it's 97% people of color. A lot of them are undocumented, and 37% of these folks live at or below the poverty line. And to make matters even worse, this community has 22% higher chance of getting cancer than the rest of Houston. If you followed my Twitter at Sam the Mullet, I was live tweeting, and I was showing you guys how a lot of people were talking about people that they knew that had died of cancer at very young ages. So this is everyday life of this community in Houston, unfortunately. So what are your next steps?
Our next steps are to continue to kind of use our political muscle to continue supporting TEJAS's advocacy work. But one of my goals is that we can work to bring other environmental groups in Houston also around these types of issues. I think that we're all going to be more effective if we can all just unite and tell each other stories and support each other's different campaigns or different issues that they're tackling. So that's one thing that I'm planning on doing and going to be doing in the future is just creating ways where we can build coalitions among groups to start taking a collaborative approach towards bringing these ideas, these recommendations to the TCEQ. It shouldn't just be these one-offs where it's like a public meeting here, we get a chance. It needs to be a sustained, long-term collaborative effort with different environmental groups, and not just environmental, but social justice groups, housing groups, worker rights groups, kind of these issues impact
It's all very
everybody.
intersectional.
It's all very related.
Yeah.
We're going to make a much bigger impact and have a much louder voice if we're all working together to consistently bring these issues up to the TCEQ.
Right.
And also to our state legislature. So that'll also be what we're working towards in the state's legislative session coming up.
Yeah.
We can recommend bills that we think could work to solve some of these problems.
Yeah.
Chemical safety rules, all kinds of recommendations for just straight up new rules or changes to Texas law that would prevent these problems from continuing.
Yeah.
And really make the TCEQ do their job better.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So, guys, I'm going to keep going live for a second. We're going to get some other people to come and interview. They're wrapping up the meeting right now, so I'm going to try to snag some other folks' talk. So, thanks for talking with me.
Thank you.
This will be posted on Burn Cherokee Report.
Thank you.
Cool. I'll be right back, guys. Where'd she go? That was cool. That was
You too.
I should have grabbed that.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
You want to do it? Yeah?
I'll do it real quickly and then she's gotta go.
Hey guys, we're back.
Oh, snap. This is live.
Yeah, it's live, but don't worry. It's some parts of the video will be edited down to like help circulate it better. So anyway, this is an activist here down in Houston. Could you introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, so my name is Jessica Lorena Rangel. I am a community outreach coordinator for things.
Yes. Yeah, she's been fighting this for a while. How long have you been fighting this now?
We have been up to this since we found out that Valero had requested this permit, which was early this year, first couple of months this year, and then we had two representatives that requested a hearing because unfortunately TCEQ was just going to approve their request to put 512 tons of hydrogen cyanide.
512 tons of hydrogen cyanide. Now, if you're not familiar with hydrogen cyanide, but you saw Jurassic World Part 2, that's the chemical that almost kills the dinosaurs. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, yeah. I was watching the movie. I was like, oh my god, hydrogen cyanide, Manchester. Oh my god.
Whoa.
Yes.
Actually, also hydrogen cyanide was what was used during concentration camps in the gas chambers for the Jews as well.
Hey, but if it's in little doses, it's safe for you. That's what TCQ and Valero are saying. So can you break down like what's been happening with Valero? Like it's my understanding that they started illegally emitting these chemicals, but they're not getting any repercussions.
Correct. Yeah, they've been releasing these chemicals without any repercussion. Although TCEQ does have standards and protocols, they obviously haven't been following them, and unfortunately TCEQ hasn't been holding them accountable for that either, because money talks.
Yeah, money talks a lot, and we know that here in YouTube because we get oppressed by social media a lot.
Yeah.
We don't talk money.
Yeah, sounds about right. Sounds about right.
So what are like the main takeaways from today's public meeting and what's happening going forward?
Yeah, so, okay. Valero's initial request was to be able to distribute 512 tons of hydrogen cyanide into the air as of the beginning of this year. When we pressured them into a public hearing, after the first public hearing, which was about 2 months ago, they decided that they were going to go down to about 246 or 256 tons of hydrogen cyanide. And as of literally a couple of hours before we started, they went down again to 196 tons of hydrogen cyanide. And obviously that wouldn't have happened if like the people wouldn't have came out and would have pressured them into this and we would have pressured accountability. Of course, they're going to say that they were listening to the public and that they, based on the public's response, which is what you heard, they heard us and they're trying to meet what we want. But obviously, what we want is for no hydrogen cyanide to be exposed. Also, they right when they did that, they purchased about a couple more acres of land, which was briefly discussed. Obviously, what is going to happen is that these control systems that take the reports in of how much hydrogen cyanide is being released, they're going to be put all the way, not in the front fence, like all the way about 2 miles away from where it's being distributed. That way, the reports don't come out to be extremely high where they really are.
So, did you guys catch that? Oh, I can only hear. Audio is really garbled. Here, I'll put it a little bit closer. My microphone at home hasn't been working, so I need to get that done. But anyway, they purchased land to try to put testing stuff further away from the plants.
Correct.
So the testing results are skewed. So one more time.
No, yeah, perfectly. Their testing scores are skewed. But regardless of if they weren't skewed or not, obviously they're not being held accountable. They are releasing hydrogen cyanide as of now, and they haven't even gotten this permit approved yet. So that in itself is illegal. And TCEQ is not holding them accountable for that. That's illegal. They're breaking the law. There should be a lawsuit for that, and there isn't because it isn't being run or it isn't being initiated by TCEQ.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where we are. This meeting has been very upsetting because we had to really attack them into something as simple as translations, having translations available. Here in the Manchester area, everybody predominantly, their primary language is Spanish. And something as simple as translations had to be like a whole petition, a whole like calling and bugging them about translation, which is if they knew the scope of this area, they actually understood. If they were good neighbors, like they claim that they are, they would know that it's Spanish. And then also even like the notices for this meeting, they were only in English. So
yeah, you guys are like uphill battle, right?
Definitely an uphill battle.
It's like it's barely even getting started, really. Yeah.
And this is not going to be the last one. There is going to be another hearing. So we do invite you all to come if you can. They don't really release when the next date is going to be. They probably release it about 2 weeks prior to the first meeting. They released it literally like a couple of days before they said they were going to come.
I remember that.
Yeah. This time we got like a little bit of 2-week notice. And hopefully we get about a 2-week notice as well. For the next meeting, but come out and make sure that your voices are heard. Make sure that you speak up against this, because these people, there was 8 people up in the front that were addressing concerns of the community and were the main ones that were responsible for what happens in this community. None of them spoke Spanish. All of them were privileged, and none of them even lived here. So they don't know anything about that. So if you can come and drop some knowledge on them, come and drop some knowledge on them. We will train you and give you like facts, a fact sheet of what is going on. And we will guide you through the commenting parts and the question part. So you can kind of get an understanding of just how badly disconnected they are from what reality is. And you saw there was like people making comments about cancer, death tolls, all the stuff that is affecting the community, and they don't even, like, they're so disconnected from it.
I also heard something about black water. I would love to go to someone's home and film the black water and show
Definitely.
people. Maybe we can hook up and schedule that at some point.
Definitely,
But-
our executive directors would be glad
But people
to show
need
you.
people need to know about that.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we are leaving.
Yeah. So, well, thank you for joining me. I'm
Thank you
going to
so much,
do
Sam.
one last interview with
Definitely.
Isabella. And I'll be around.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Bye, guys.
I'll be right back with Earth Justice Lawyer, who is representing this community. This community is
She's
in
a badass.
Manchester.
Mhm.
She's really awesome.
She's a badass,
I
yeah.
fangirl
And I just
her.
want to point out that you've only interviewed women.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, hey guys. So my microphone at home hasn't been working with this thing, so we just have to talk a little bit loud and close to it.
Okay. All right.
So this is Isabella. She is the Earth Justice Lawyer representing all this craziness here. Could you talk about like the legal stuff, the fluid, liquid stuff, and just all of it?
Yes, so my name is Isabel Trevino, and I'm an attorney with Earth Justice. I represent Texas and the Sierra Club. And do I look at you?
Yeah, you can look at me. You can look at the camera, wherever you feel comfortable.
All right, so there's a few things going on. So this is a permit that, as far as I can pull back, and I pulled back 8 years, nobody's commented on this permit. So Valero was really caught by surprise. The community for the first time is realizing, there's these permits and these opportunities to participate in this very damaging aspect of the community. And the community showed up. They realized what was happening. And then we had this hard fact that we knew that they were emitting 49 tons a year. So the EPA required them to test their stack. So they were emitting 49 tons a year of hydrogen cyanide. But then in 2014, this application, they're requesting 512 tons a year. So about 10 times more than what they're actually emitting. They found out they were emitting about 49 tons in 2017. So I mentioned in the meeting that they didn't go to the TCQ to try to change their application. They wanted full speed ahead, and the TCQ was ready to give them this permit. So in reviewing the notices, one of the things we found out was that the first notice actually didn't notice for hydrogen cyanide or any kind of category like hazardous air pollutant or anything like that that would have covered hydrogen cyanide. So there's a very important facet of Texas law here at play. And for air permits, for a lot of air permits, if you don't comment between the first and the second, the first comment period, so the first notice, you lose your ability to request a hearing. Yeah, and that's that. So the community didn't receive notice. We became involved with the second notice. This is after we submitted a public information request, and this is how we realized that this first notice, in fact, was about hydrogen cyanide. So that's how we became involved. We raised this notice issue. There was deficient notice. You've got to go back. So now we're at a point where the community can continue to comment. We had another public meeting, and they can request a hearing. So the community here can request a hearing. The notice, it's 3 notices in one. They really want to get this done. It's a notice of the first notice, the second notice, and the public meeting notice. And in the notice, there's instructions on how to submit a hearing request, which folks can do if they want to. So that's where we're at. There's a number of things going on. So of course we have an agency that is unwilling or perhaps incapable of providing us with access to this public information. I was told there was a litigation hold, but certainly the litigation hold doesn't cover all of the permit file. I eventually got some records, but there's a lot of pieces where whether it's kind of institutional incompetency because these permits, folks are not participating in the public participation process, or just outright hostility. At the end of the day, we have been deprived of information, and I think I mentioned at the last public meeting, very dramatically, we come to the last public meeting, and it's literally a few hours before the public meeting, and I received thousands of documents.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they waited until the very last moment to give you all those documents that you had requested weeks in advance.
In February.
In February. And this meeting was in July. This meeting was in July. I remember that.
Yeah, so we have actually still not received the federal operating permit. And on Monday, when I went to the regional office to ask for the federal operating permit, they actually have two. Couldn't see either one of them. And it's not just about the permit itself, but everything that goes into it, all the internal memoranda that tell you how the agency arrived to those conclusions. So today we heard, the toxicology memo, air dispersion modeling, the characterization of the neighborhood and all that. That's going to be in the internal memoranda. So it's very important that we not only get the permit, but the whole permit file. You see the correspondence, you see all these things. So we still don't have that. We don't know if, in fact, they are going to turn around and try to incorporate this into their federal or Title V operating permit. And that's a real danger to the community, because not only will they be stuck with a very high hydrogen cyanide limit, they will not know where it is, where in Valero's the emissions, where they're falling. So this is dangerous, and this is happening in other states, and that's a different aspect of this kind of. Valero wants to tell us it's it's just one thing, it's just one pollutant. This is a national trend. Petroleum refineries found out that they're emitting hydrogen cyanide and many other things when they started aggressively trying to get these amendments and incorporating them into their federal permits, and therefore depriving us of what would otherwise be publicly available information.
Right. Last time I spoke with her, we talked about this is also a trend in Colorado, like we've been seeing this in Colorado as well. So it's nationwide. That's great. I saw some comments and I was trying to see if the audio was okay.
Okay.
Let's see. I did a question. I try to keep interviews as fluid as possible because I notice like sometimes more information comes out when it's fluid. But there's just been so much going on with this Valero and Manchester stuff that it's really difficult to wrap one's head around it. 5 is permanent, so who can they hear the people? And for those of you just joining in, this is classic environmental racism. 22% of the community, 22% of Houston. Wow, I am tired today. Okay, so all of Houston, 22%, they have the highest chance of cancer out of all of Houston. 97% of these folks are people of color, and 37% of them live at or below the poverty line. So for them to keep withholding these documents, did you see this around like across the country too, like them withholding federal documents? Is it also in communities of color and poverty?
So I'm not sure about other refineries, but this is a trend for facilities. Well, they'll claim like in this instance we have the agency claiming kind of like a litigation privilege, and then the actual regulated facilities claiming things like it's confidential business information. So the information I received earlier today, saying that
They're turning the lights off on us.
they went even lower than 245 tons per year. That actually had a little caveat that there was confidential business information behind that number, and I didn't get that. So you in Texas, you can go get an attorney general opinion and submit the information, and then have the attorney general determine whether it's confidential and whatnot. The TCQ just earlier this week told us that they were seeking a attorney general opinion to see whether they could give us the federal operating permit. So we have to wait for that now.
Okay, so we're waiting for this federal permit, and that's all we got for now, huh?
Yeah, so folks can comment, folks can request hearing, can make hearing requests, and show their support. And this is something where you may be noticing this in other communities. So if you have that information, it's kind of hard for us as an attorney. It's hard for us to know where and when it's happening because every state is different. And because it starts at the state level, then it makes it to EPA. It's a very complicated battle, but it is happening nationwide. We've seen it in Ohio. Colorado. We've seen it in other refineries, and we are not aware. I unfortunately hate to say this, but there are states that do worse in Texas as far as public notice.
Wow.
So it's a very complicated battle where you may end up jumping in at the very last step where it's already at EPA.
So, well, that's it, folks. Thanks for joining us. You'll see this video published, and we'll get Colin to edit it later. So, thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Beep, beep. All right. That was good. How do I do this? No. Babe. Cool.